Good afternoon, everybody, and
Hi all.
welcome to a tasting from On Married to Wine. And this afternoon we've got a stalwart with regards to the industry, with regards to the variety, and with regards to the region.
It's weird how we, when we decide, it's not like we decide on the wine, but when we heard that there's fresh tuna at our local fishmonger, and when we go and buy this beautiful, like sushi grade tuna, we go there with the wine in mind. And this was the wine that immediately jumped to mind.
The 2018 Chardonnay from Hamilton Russell.
Because the wine has so much stature and it's a commanding wine for reasons that we'll discuss while we taste it. And you've got to keep your cooking simple.
You know what?
And let the wine shine.
Sorry, you said something so interesting, stature. And to me, it starts at the top. It starts with Anthony and Olive. Their stature. And it filters through, obviously, right through into the cellar, into the wines, into the bottle, and hopefully within the next few seconds into the glass.
I will never forget, and I'm not going to say which wine show, but I went to a wine show and I was behind the table presenting a wine for a winery. And I heard somebody coming up to the table, but I was busy, I don't know, doing something. And this person started talking about wine, and just the vocabulary this person used made me look up. And there was Anthony. And ever since, I've been hanging on his lips because he uses beautiful words to describe wine, and it actually inspires me. And when you think of Olive presenting these wines at a show, she epitomizes elegance. So it kind of just goes together. So you're almost curious to want to taste these wines.
Well, how's my new little toy? Sorry, tu la bella mia, dai, ciccia.
Oh,
Dai, bella.
I'll get it.
Right, this is it being Friday. We would probably finish this bottle. However, we want to take our time with this little number, and we've got a very interesting lunch coming through on Sunday.
Well, our caravan comes in handy
Yeah,
because you know what? During lockdown, you started really getting into all your very expensive or wines that you put away for a rainy day, and you end up finishing them. It's not good for anybody.
Yeah, so then come along with the caravan here, which allows us to taste a little bit at a time.
You can get it from Grey Domains.
Sure, very
And
much so.
initially, it sounds expensive, but it's an excellent
It's
investment.
without a doubt an excellent investment, and I think it's very important to mention that you don't really want to keep that needle in too long.
Yeah.
Because cork being natural, obviously, once you pull out the needle, pretty much takes its shape again. You can have this wine without any signs of oxidation, without any leakage for 2-3 years after you've actually tasted it. So that allows you to show how the wine revolutionizes. Oh, what a big word. Develops much easier. So beautiful gold pale. No, actually, it's got a darker than pale straw color. It's got a lovely. What would you put this in?
It's medium gold, medium lemon.
Medium lemon. Just finished the WZ4.
I wish I dreamt last night that I didn't pass, so I better pass. Anyway, back to the wine. Initially, the Chardonnays always have a little bit of a reactivity on them. Which means that they were just made not with overly a lot of oxygen. But Chardonnay doesn't start out as a very aromatic grape, and a lot of the essence of the wine is built into it over time.
And very much site specific, Sam.
Yeah, well, up in Hemel-en-Aarde, they can sit up on one of the cliffs and see the ocean.
Sure.
So the ocean's right there. They're one of the most southernmost wineries. And so they're doused in this beautiful, cool climate.
Sorry, may I? I think it takes a lot of guts and a lot of know-how to decide I'm going to do a Chardonnay and a Pinot Noir. That's it. And I'm going to take it to a level that very few people get to take their specific wines in this country with regards to Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. There's a lot of very good producers out there. But then if that's not enough, they take it to a level where this wine is rated so high globally.
Well, and to make the decision makes you vulnerable because you can't hide behind any mediocre or any other wines. This is who you are. And when you go to the property, the way they're presented, both Anthony and Olive and Talita and their staff, is with a lot of confidence. They know what they're making, they know what it stands for, and that's the message with confidence
Sure.
that they put out there.
Oh,
But,
no.
I was saying, so if you give it some oxygen, that reactivity
It disappears.
very quickly.
Yeah, and then almost that white pear comes through, stone fruit. You know the white pear that's got almost that gold skin color.
Yeah, and it keeps some of that charcuterie kind of salty brininess that
Almost
I
a
love.
white charcuterie. White meat charcuterie.
Like wild boar, or is that white meat?
No, pheasant charcuterie.
Okay.
Sorry if any vegetarians out there, but you know the white meat charcuterie. They, you know, I'm picking up. You know that when you take parsley and you just grab it off the pot and you just that fresh parsley nose is very, very dominant. It's got richness. It's got that toasted bread with some nice fresh butter on, and it melts into the bread. It's got that beautiful toasted bread butter nose to it. Again, sorry, you said something very, very interesting earlier. With regards to the nose.
My mind's just going to a time where we're in Spain, and this butcher opened this fridge, and there were all these like salamis hanging. You know, the white bit on the salamis. It's got some of that old world salinity, saltiness to it, but then there's a beauty and a very. When we did the tuna, and the same silkiness, the same viscosity in the wine that kind of complemented each other. But then we had bone marrow.
Sure, I was about to say, not just the tuna. I mean, you Sam seared the tuna, and I can't take any credit for this in regards to this recipe. And then we roasted bone marrow, and you took the marrow and you put it on the tuna with salsa verde.
Well, you treat it
With
like
it.
meat, yeah.
Oh, what a pairing! What and
Simple.
the fact that this wine holds up so well. I mean, it doesn't back down at all to all those very prominent tastes.
And this wine takes you to places. It's almost like these fairy tales that kind of happens in your mouth while while you're tasting these combinations. And when you have that anchovy and the capers in the salsa verde, it then takes you into this like fresh orchard of nectarines, and there's this play of aromas.
You're right now. Oh, it's almost like the nectarine. You take nectarine, you literally just squeeze and break in your.
Ooh.
No, Bella. The flavor, the taste of nectarines in your mouth, without a doubt. But there's so much class. There's so much persistence. There's so much attitude in a very good way. This wine, I mean, it personifies perfection to me when it comes
South
to the
African,
varietal.
wearing a bit of a French hat, but
Very small French hat.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Very
It's
small.
just that nod of elegance
Sure.
not towards the old world, but the exuberance of the new world.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hamilton
love
Russell,
that.
congratulations on an amazing
We
2018
love it.
Hamilton Russell Chardonnay. A beautiful property and beautiful tasting room and
Cheers.
beautiful wine. Salute.